many people do you think would, given the choice, start in one place over any other?
I know a lot of people like to start with the Uncle play anyway, and I'm not a huge fan of that play, to be honest. Just because I don't like to go to Hyrule Castle without doing all of it. Or at least all of the front. That being said, I'm probably the only person in the world who does it that way. Because look at this.
Well, so far it looks like 4 out of 4 runners agree that starting the Uncle path is the way to go.
Yeah, 4 out of 4 runners baffle me, and I'm okay with it. That's okay. Let's see. Wait, this is one reason I can see this play being good is because you can get the tree pull in here real quick if you're looking for bombs, things like that. Boyne did start at Sank, but he only grabbed the chest in there and left. We did get a power glove from Uncle, so you know, I'd have probably been up a creek this seed, but who knows?
Burrito in the sanctuary.
Now, Walther is going to go ahead and head up the south entrance to CAC. One of the upsides of the south entrance here is you can farm some bombs off of these bushes here that he's about to get to. Unfortunately, he misses both 50-50 shots.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
So he's going to do it again. There we go.
There's one.
And he's going to go ahead and farm some more, it looks like.
Well, Inknun and Dwayne seem to be going into... Well, no. Inknun, at least, is in Lost Woods. Oh, found a little something in there. I believe that's the hook shot.
Yeah, we got ourselves a hook shot.
Feel sorry for whoever got lost in the woods and forgot their hook shot. Looked like a big 20 in the race game.
Back of Escape has a silver arrows and some money. Was that the Cane of Berna? On the library there?
I did not see it.
I mean, I think it was blue. Ah, Bloomerang. That makes more sense. It's the same color blue. Alright, so we've got a piece of heart in the chicken hut.
Inknun picking up some bombs. Looks like he's going to do a little bomb action here.
Yep. It's always nice when you've got, say, 50 rupees to pull that off. Another strategy you'll see people go for rarely is to do what Walther's doing here and pick up bombs from this bombable shed here. That way you don't have to spend any money.
Bomb upgrade in the net. I keep calling that the swimming hole, but I know that's not what it is when you fall into that hole there.
Yeah. I believe the usual term is Kakariko well, but I mean, I could call it the swimming hole if it's okay with you.
That's all right. As long as everybody knows what I'm talking about.
Alright, so Bugnet is in play now. That's generally not a required item, but a lot of people like it.
Oh, we found our first sword. And,
Oh, and if you were looking for money, there's a metric ton sitting there in Blind's hut. I mean, he is a thief.
I don't think we need to debate the morals of stealing from a thief, so... Link can put it to good use. Maybe invested in Zora.
You know, Zora... Yeah, I read the stock report on Zora, and it just doesn't seem worth it.
Last time I made the investment, it was the Titan's gloves.
Oh, well
I'm
then.
just saying. You know, every once in a while it pays off. Mileage may vary, of course.
Right, right.
So with everybody basically picking up their first sword, is there a place you really think they're going to head to, say, any of the dungeons in particular, to try to pick off a crystal if they can?
Well, I mean, at the current moment, there's no crystal dungeon available that they can actually finish. They can get most of the way through Eastern, but they don't have the bow to finish that. Desert is currently off limits, and so is Tower of Hera. But I see a lot of people making the play on Eastern just because so many items are, you know, a lot of Eastern Palace is just in logic from the beginning. And so a lot of times you can find progression there.
Okay, we have Dwayne making a play into a little waterworks experiment to drain the swamp and see what happens. Oh wait, it's the light world, it's not the swamp yet.
I mean, it's still kind of a swamp. If only draining the swamp were that easy in real life. Moving on. Oh, speaking of Titan's mitts.
Hello.
There we go.
Oh, looks like these runners' mileage will vary from any investment made into Zora.
Alright, so Wayne is now heading into the ever so wonderful mini Moldorm cave. 5 items in here, and the hookshot making quick work of those mini Moldorms. We've got a lamp and 300 additional rupees and a fairy in a bottle, a shield, and a big heart. So, Saint heart, actually.
So back to Kakariko to check on the sick kid, or I think there's something else to play, exploring a little more.
I feel like Death Mountain is just screaming at me right now. And you'll probably get, like, Moon Pearl up there, and then you can head to check Sick Kid on the way in, and then head to the Dark World.
Has any of the runners checked their map yet to see what's available?
Well, we do have marked on our trackers that Eastern and Desert are both crystals, and Tower of Hera is the green pendant. So I'm assuming that one of our intrepid trackers caught that at some point.
Now, let's see, Salty Fry coming into Moldorm, Walther coming into the mini Moldorm cave as well. Ink Nun just about on their way in. Looks like this is a game of follow the leader going on right here with all 4 of the restreamed runners right now.
Mm-hmm.
Dwayne picking up silvers, which I think were mistakenly already marked off on the tracker. I'm not certain Ink Nun had gone into the Hyrule Castle bombable area.
I believe he did. So Ink Nun is now heading up Death Mountain, this being in sequence now. Pretty sure he already went through the mini Moldorm cave, got the lamp and all that stuff. Although he is going to check the Lumberjack now. Just a big heart on the Lumberjack, so no sort of incentive to go to Aghanim just right away.
Now, Salty Fry and Wayne seem to be doing an escort mission of the old man. Oh. 20 rupee tip for their troubles.
I hear that is the going rate.
Sometimes he's stingy and only gives 5. That's kind of inconvenient.
All right, so we're going to see Salty Fry go ahead and check Spectacle Rock Cave. I imagine this is some knowledge here. We see Ether on top of Spectacle Rock. Just an arrow upgrade inside, so I don't expect them to go that direction. Now I expect jumping off a ledge here in a minute, so we can head across to the east side of Death Mountain.
Uh-oh, Ink Nun down to 1 heart.
The sync between Ink Nun and Salty Fry. And Wayne just behind.
An intentional fall like that does not cost a heart to do. Okay, I was afraid he was going to fall and end up dying.
No damage from that. That's good. Alright, so a pair of flippers inside the bottom of Paradox Cave here, as Walther continues through the front of Hyrule Castle. We got a piece of heart, 5 bomb upgrade, 3 bombs. Another 5 bomb upgrade, and another piece of heart. So we're down to Spiral Cave up here being what we've got left. And then we may have to go hit up Eastern Palace. Another 5 bomb upgrade. Oh no, Walther, no!
It looks like he's taking an intentional death just to get out of there.
Yeah, but he picked up a fairy and a bottle. Oh, he got rid of it. Good. I don't know why I ever doubted Walther.
No,
Just another piece of heart in Spiral Cave as well. So Walther now heading to the Dark Escape Room. Another piece of heart. So it looks like Eastern is probably the play. Zora could also be the play. Or some of these flipper locations.
Most of them have the rupees, well, all of them, on before we have restreaming, and it looks like Ink Nun and Wayne are actually making that Zora play right now. If not headed to a hobo under the bridge.
So down here on Salty Fry's screen, if you look, we see something that you don't really see that often anymore. We've got the Super Bunny Cave play as a bunny.
Hobo given a little bit of love with the heart fragment to both Wayne and Ink Nun.
All right, so Salty Fry, gonna check these chests in Super Bunny Cave. We've got bombs and plus 5 arrow upgrades, so nothing important there. Looks like Salty Fry will go ahead and check what the medallion requirement is for Turtle Rock.
Ink Nun in the water cave finding 2 full hearts. Wayne soon after finding 2 full hearts.
Looks like Ether for Turtle Rock means we'll need that mirror.
I think none and Dwayne. What do you think Zora's gonna have this time? Sword upgrade?
I mean, it's going to be a piece of heart at this rate. That's all
Big shield?
that's all we've gotten from everything.
Or red shield, excuse me. Oh, you gotta be up to... Ah, there we go. Bunch of arrows.
The real scam artist there. So I guess
Zora?
technically by the Hyrulean economy, those are worth 30 rupees. There is one shop in the game where you can buy arrows.
Well, no more beginner's luck for the commentary call for Zora. Looks like Dwayne taking your advice and heading off to Eastern Palace. Inknun, a little too early to try an Ognim play, isn't it? Or
Yeah, I don't think it's theoretically possible at the moment. You would need either a cape or another sword just to get in.
Dwayne finding another piece of heart, or excuse me, a full heart, raiding Sashrala's basement.
Wow, the front of this seed is being pretty stingy with our access requirements. We're gonna want to find either, you know, a hammer or a moon pearl or something to get us further along.
Oh, that's basically the entire wish list of what I want to see on the pedestal right now. But, you know, I wouldn't want to wish that on the, you know, I'm kind of silently rooting for a pedestal seed, although I kind of just blew it that I'm rooting for a pedestal seed.
Well, we can't have hammer or moon pearl on pedestal, unfortunately. Mainly because the moon pearl, or the hammer is going to be required for swamp, and it's definitely going to be required for, the moon pearl is going to be required for any dungeon in the Dark World. Let's see, we could have some things on the pedestal that are interesting. Like Canis Samaria could be there. One of the medallions, you know, various things, boots.
Inknun taking a death warp out of the Hyrule Castle basement after getting the big key. As of right now, no one that's restreamed has checked the Sick Kid, to my knowledge.
Right, Sick Kid is a play. Agina's Cave is another play over in Desert, and that's about what's left.
Yeah, looking at chat, they're asking why no one checked the Sick Kid, and most of them headed into Kakariko Town and picked up a bottle well after they had moved past Kakariko and have not made their way back yet.
Right, you would generally say want to come back to Kakariko once you had the Moon Pearl so that you could go to the Dark World or something like that, but unfortunately that's not the case here. Yeah, the bottle was in Mini Moldorm Cave.
Now, Inknun seems to be making the Death Mountain play. Red Boomerang, found by Dwayne in Eastern Palace. Looks like he's saving and quit to get out of there.
We did have a lumberjack check. The lumberjack cave was just a full heart.
Now, I will admit to not keeping complete track of the items that were found in Eastern Palace. I guess it wouldn't be a smart enough play to try to take on the Armos Knights without having a bow.
Well, you can't actually even get to the Armos Knights without a bow. There are some red red Igors between here and there that you have to kill, and they only take damage from the bow.
Ah.
Alright, so we've got a Gina coming up from Salty Fry. This is one of our 2 pieces of information that we don't have yet.
Walther looks to be making the waterfall plus Zora play, but guess it's a little late to warn him about how bad of an investment Zora is right now.
He's going to mess up his perfect 3 to the 6th rupees. There's the Moon Pearl in Agina's cave.
Now, does that give us Dark World access with the Titan's Mitts and Moon Pearl?
It absolutely does. There is a dark rock in Kakariko Village you can lift to get to the portal for Kakariko Village, allowing you to reach West Dark World.
Now, Blaine gonna get beat up by a guard and be ejected from Hyrule Castle in the near future, making sure to get rid of his fairy before wasting it.
We did see a sick kid check from Salty Fry. I did not, however, see what it was. A shield, it looks like. You know, I'm not actually opposed to a fire shield when you're about to go do Thieves Town. I mean, yes, you can script out the blind fight to where it doesn't matter, but you know, some of us haven't quite figured out the script yet.
I think it's pretty much stay on the top of the screen and then hit him in the head a lot.
Hit him in the head a lot, I believe, is part of the script, yes. Alright, so there is a +5 arrow upgrade in the Sea House for Salty Fry. So the only way that Aghanim is required at this point is if the hammer is on Pyramid Fairy, and that's only a logical requirement. Because you can sort of sequence break it with the flippers. There's the bow!
Well, that just opened a lot of things up. Salty Fry picking up the bow in Thieves Town.
Wayne is about to pick up his Moon Pearl. That will make things quite a bit easier on him.
Well, looks like it's time to go digging for Salty Fry.
Salty Fry sort of working his way over to the right-hand side. You may think he's doing some sort of design here, but he's really not. He's just getting this done so that he can lift this dark rock and leave quickly.
Whew. And on the 25th dig, we get a full heart.
And it is guaranteed to occur within the first 30 digs for those of you who are new to the randomizer. And not only is it guaranteed to be there in the first 30 digs, but it will be the same dig for everyone.
So now Salty Fry, without the mirrors, got a bit of a walk ahead of him now, doesn't he, to return the his buddy Jeremiah.
That is true. He's going to need to save and quit at some point to get to the light world, but sometimes you want to take the Frogsmith on a world tour and that looks to be what's happening here.
Oh, Inknun going into the Dark World, into Dark Death Mountain here.
Yeah, so Salty Fry did the Super Bunny version of this, but when you've got the Moon Pearl, you get a lot more stuff here, because not only can Inknun check Super Bunny Cave, but he can also go into Hookshot Cave.
Oh, speaking of Hookshot Cave, oh, looked like a little cookie. Quake, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So Hookshot Cave at least had Quake Medallion.
Well, that's
that up and then quitting out.
That's more than we can say for Hype Cave. Hype Cave was straight garbo.
Well, in all fairness, Hookshot Cave could be hot garbage all the same if Misery Mire or Turtle Rock don't require it.
We know that Turtle Rock requires ether, but we don't know yet for Misery Mire, and we won't until that fluke shows up. So Salty Fry is gonna return the blacksmith home. We got plus 10 bomb upgrade.
No mirror, so you can't go run the chest in the Dark World.
Yep, have to go back to the Dark World via the only portal they have access to, which is this one in Kakariko Village. This is why a lot of people don't like having Hammer late, because there's only one access point into the Dark World here, and so you'd have to, like, if you want to go to Pod, you got to go the long way to Pod.
Oof. Well, with having the bow at this point, would Eastern Palace be back into play?
Yeah, you could finish Eastern Palace at this point. I don't remember if Armos had an item left or not.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was not paying enough attention to Blaine when he was in there originally.
So Blaine and Salty Fry both currently doing Thieves Town in roughly the same location. Inknun heading to Skull Woods. Slightly different play here. At least a couple of our runners have been to Dark Death Mountain. That's where the runners on top got the Quake Medallion.
Now, with the lamp, can you actually get to the final section and potentially complete this dungeon for Walther?
No, you have to have the fire rod to beat Skull Woods. You can't open the back door without it.
Okay, so the lantern just isn't good enough then.
Now, if you're playing, say, Entrance Shuffle, and Skull Woods isn't there and it's somewhere you can get into, you can reach the back with just the lamp. You can get through the fire rod, or like the torches room, but it's not in logic.
So for Walther at this point, it's just a scouting mission to see what he could possibly get out of there. Oh boy, and I feel so sorry for you, and I apologize in advance for the 10 more digs you're gonna have to do to get that heart.
There's nothing wrong with asking questions.
No, I ask questions I feel that someone in the chat who may not be a veteran of the randomizer wouldn't understand what's going on.
Exactly.
So I feel it's better to ask the question and have some kind of explanation than have someone who isn't really fully understanding what's going on just kind of, oh, well, I don't know what's going on, so, all right, I'm going to move on.
I'm assuming every time you ask a question, you actually already know the answer. I'm just filling it in. That's
I'm sorry, I
right
fooled you
there.
so gloriously. A couple
Wayne,
rage bombs by
expressing his
Dwayne in the hype cave.
Yeah, exactly. And we've got a blind fight from Salty Fry.
Now, you might want to take notes on this. Stay at the top and hit him in the head. And try to dodge all the things that are running around. And down goes blind.
Looks like we have no small key today, so no need to head to the big chest. Thieves Town.
I am not sure what blind actually had, if anything. The explosion animation was still there.
It appeared to be 10 arrows. So nothing particularly important at the moment. Wayne's gonna go looking at the pyramid.
Wow, looks like Dwayne's doing the Jeremiah the Bullfrog World Tour.
There's a chance we could see him go all the way to Catfish here.
That didn't look too impressive. Looked red, but it looked like a rupee.
I believe that is what it was. We appear to have a catfish situation on our hands. Alright, Salty Fry is now delivering the purple chest. We'll see what that has. Oh, it's hammer time!
Well, that opens things up a little bit more now, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I feel a pod dip coming on.
Well, Inknon making quick work of Blind's first form. There goes the second one.
Just a piece of heart today. Well done with Inknon there. That is how that's supposed to look.
Salty Fry going Palace of Darkness. Walther's gonna get the bad news about the not-so-hype cave.
Ink picking up the bow. Salty's gonna go ahead and do Eastern first. He hasn't done this, so we know this is gonna be sort of a rehash for some of us, but that does make sense given the fact that you're gonna head over to Pod after this. Be nice if you could find the mirror. Unfortunately, not today.
Well, do we know the mirror's not in Eastern Palace?
I'm not certain. I need to make sure I've got the count right, but So I've seen 2 items so far. Saw arrows in the first chest, and I saw the red boomerang.
I mean, it's a long shot to be anything of value, but sometimes the gamble pays off. Uh-oh, Salty Fry missing the invisible skeleton. Just shooting them with the bow.
Okay, yeah, all the items in Eastern are accounted for.
Okay, so Salty Fry will be able to finish Eastern Palace, but will not be able to just mirror over to Palace of Darkness.
Correct. So the reason that the mirror can't be in Turtle Rock this time is that the medallion for Turtle Rock is the Ether Medallion, which is on top of Spectacle Rock.
And you need the mirror to get to the top of Spectacle Rock.
So, here's a good question. Randomizer. The idea with Randomizer is all of the items in this game have been moved around into different locations. It has been moved in such a way that the game is still completable, and you can still reach every item except a couple of small exceptions that don't really matter. And the idea is finish the game as quickly as you can. It sort of adds back in the feel of exploration that you had when you first played the game, you know?
Well, I had Nintendo Power, so I knew where everything was.
Well, that sounds like a personal problem. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I know. The sins of my youth are, looking back upon them, and going through every game with the Nintendo Power, not the best idea.
Yeah, I did the same when I was young, so it was a while before I learned the value of getting it done yourself.
Well, that's what I hire other people for. Inknun finding nothing of value in the pyramid.
Yeah, there are a lot of randomizers of this game that are even more crazy. Like, this version still keeps its keys in the dungeons that they're used in. There's versions of it that don't. So it's a big mess. Some of this is done on emulators, some of it's done on actual console hardware via a piece of technology known as like either an SD to SNES or a EverDrive or some way of getting these ROMs onto a physical cartridge.
Well, Salty Fry, while we were having that conversation, picked up his second crystal, finishing off Eastern Palace.
Nicely done. And so now Inknun is heading into Pod just a little bit ahead of Salty Fry. But Inknun has the unfortunate distinction of not having the hammer, and will therefore be unable to finish Pod. That's Palace of Darkness for the uninitiated.
Now, do you think Inknun's still diving in, knowing he can't complete dungeons, just looking for whatever progression item that might be just sort of loose and out there to grab?
Oh, absolutely. When I see the bow, that tells me I can clear everything in Pod except the boss. And so I don't feel bad about going in there. Coming back to clear it later is not going to take you that long. So it's not the end of the world.
Something up, but I'm not sure if it was his second sword or if it was the ice rod.
It appeared to be a sword. It was a little blurry on my screen, but it looked like a sword.
Now, with 4 people on the screen, I happened to see grab something, but by the time I moved my eyes over there, it disappeared, and it wasn't entirely sure what it was.
We can see it again here on Salty's screen if we want to make absolute certain.
Ah, well, at least we have the benefit of instant replay.
There we go, Master Sword. And Inknun heading to the ledge, another small key. Tend to be a lot of small keys in the front of pod.
Inknun death warping out. Think he's found everything he's gonna get.
No, he just doesn't have the hammer, so he can't jump down the side there.
Ah, right, that too.
So he's gonna head in this direction instead.
Now take notes. Blaine's gonna show you how to do the blind fight.
Oh, this is definitely how it's done as well.
There's gonna be a quiz on this later. So now all of our restreamed runners have finished off Thieves Town.
Now there is a chance that there is something in this vanilla big key chest, and at this point it just became much more likely because Inknun has found the remaining keys in this dungeon. So not only is there something non-key related in the big key chest, but also in this chest he's about to open, which is the flute.
Well, that's non-key related.
Big key chest, just a big 20.
Oh, so now it's going to be soon my most, well, aside from a ped seed being confirmed, you know, it'll soon be time for everybody to take their hats off, stand up, salute the Hylian national anthem.
Ah, yes. I completely forgot to make up lyrics. Hang on.
One of these days, we're going to have to work on that. Oh, Inknun, interesting way to death warp out of the dungeon.
Yep. Now, Salty Fry is, of course, going to finish it. Yeah, Purple Chest is gonna cause some real havoc here for our runners. Having to do Purple Chest without the mirror, by the way, to get the hammer is just gross.
I think Inknun has had enough. But it looks like we're soon going to have the foul on the prowl.
Sounds like it.
Oh, there it goes. He's switching over. All right, now, everybody, please be silent. Take your hats off. Stand up. It's time for the Hylian national anthem.
All right, there we go. Alright, Salty Fry just picking up his flute as well. Wayne and Walther also heading into pod, so all those flute items will be around shortly. Ink will now be heading over to Misery Mire. We're going to check out what medallion that requires. I saw Quake.
Wow. That makes that Quake medallion much more valuable.
Oh, and the mirror and Bombos. Excuse me?
Oh,
Fire
so
Rod
much
and Ice
for
Palace,
percent.
anybody?
Pipe Cave, 5 chests and absolutely nothing. Misery Mire, 2 chests and wow.
Hype shed indeed. Yeah, the mirror is not hammerlocked. That's interesting. So, at least with that mirror, it might lead Ink back to check Blacksmith and Purple Chest and all that.
Look like a burrito on the torch.
Yep, so we are not boots locked here in Desert.
Looks like Salty Fry's about to boop Helmasaur's nose here.
Yep, that is how you defeat a Helmasaur, with the nose boop of doom. And there we go, 1 silver arrow to the face.
So that'll be Salty Fry's 3rd crystal.
Yeah, I saw Quake when the Mire check happened.
No, I see nothing. I plead the 5th.
That being said, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
I didn't have my glasses on. The dog ate my homework. Yeah, that's it. The dog ate my homework.
We could have a triple medallion seed. That would be interesting. If, say, Ice Palace had the Fire Rod in it somewhere.
Now, at this point, Bombos is really only going to be used to break Cold Stare's shell. Is there anything else that I'm not thinking?
Bombos can also be used to destroy the freezors that you have to kill on the way in. Like, in the very first room, there's a thing you have to kill or you can't get past the front. And if you have Bombos, you can get through without the Fire Rod. So that's the only way that the Fire Rod can be in Ice Palace, is if you have Bombos.
Well, I think that's about the only thing that is left on Pedestal that would keep Pedestal in play.
Cane of Samaria.
Okay, so there's still hope. I've got options.
And I guess boots for GT. Ice Rod.
I don't need Ice Rod. Oh,
Well,
I
you
guess
do
we
for
do want
Trinex.
It's only a crystal dungeon.
All right, Ink is now entering Misery Mire. He'd better hope that cane isn't on the pedestal, because you're gonna need the Cane of Samaria to get through this. abomination of a dungeon. Quake was in the Hookshot Cave up on Death Mountain, which Salty is less likely to go back to because he checked Super Bunny Cave while he was up there without the Moon Pearl.
Right now, Inknun is in Misery Mire. Salty Fry is in Desert Palace.
So you know that fire rod we were just talking about?
I can scratch that one off the list.
There it is. It's in Misery Mire.
You don't even want to see my notepad right now. My hopes and dreams are being dashed minute by minute here. I'm just kind of hoping the book will show up and then somebody will check it.
Yeah. Book does make your life a little easier when it comes to a pedestal check. But there's no guarantee that it will be available to do so. You could have a pedestal seed where the book is in Ganon's tower, which is unfortunate.
Oh, ouch. Now, Blaine taking a slightly different strategy. Instead of booping Helmasaur, he was bonking Helmasaur with the hammer.
Oh yeah, the fire rod couldn't be on the pedestal because you needed it for Skull Woods. But, because of that, because we just picked up the fire rod, we actually can beat all the pendant dungeons now.
Wouldn't you still need the ice rod for Trihex?
Trinix is a crystal. I'm talking about the pendant dungeons.
Oh, minor details. Don't mind me. I'll pay attention.
So if you want to go pull the pedestal, you can do it right now. You just gotta go way out of your way. Oh my goodness, these dead rocks are not cooperating with Inknun.
Wow. Looks like the highway construction. 0 lanes available.
Walther now finishing off Desert, and Ink is going to go get his Ether Medallion. We may get to see what's in Tower of Hera.
Okay, without the... Now, he does Tower of Hera here, but he wouldn't try to go for Turtle Rock at this point.
No, it would be very difficult for him to proceed in Turtle Rock without the Cane of Samaria. If you had the boots, you could do some real fancy footwork and get across those gaps, but it would be almost impossible. I say almost because someone has done it on stream.
Are you trying to say people would actually attempt to hover across?
I mean, if by people you mean TGH, then yes.
I think there's a couple others that might be able to do it. Andy comes to mind.
Andy could probably do it. There's a lot of people who could do it, but only one person who has actually done it on stream.
Can you hover Turtle Rock? Yes. Should you?
Probably
not.
And it's especially difficult if you intend to do the right side front room with the torches. Good luck with that.
I mean, I've seen someone hover Hookshot Cave, so, I mean, you know, if the force is strong, you can just kind of levitate yourself across and pay these little gaps no mind.
So Salty Fry is now heading into Ice Palace, which is an interesting play, and, you know, if I have the Bombless Medallion right now, I'm thinking, did they put the Fire Rod in Ice Palace? Because that's the only way it can be there. Unfortunately, turns out that's not the case.
Well, Inknun's made short work of Trolldorm there, as Salty Fry misses the bomb jump, or still trying to set himself up in the right spot.
The trick with the two skeletons... Oh, in Ice Palace. So, the idea there is... So you lift the pot on the top, walk through it to make the other skeleton fall down, then as you're walking down, place the bomb on that spot where you picked up the pot. There's a lot of leeway there, don't worry about it. And then, go down, pick up the bottom left pot, head to the wall, and then as soon as the skeleton drops, toss it upward. That should knock that one back into the bomb explosion, and for some reason, it'll kill both of them.
Well, looks like it's time for a coffee break here for Inknun, down in Tower of Hera's basement.
Yeah, that was an explanation that sounded a little difficult, but it's really not that hard. You just got to practice it a couple times, and you'll have it. They could both be down. It's just you don't really have time to slash the second skeleton.
Oh,
Ink finds a third sword in.
that might have been a good
Tower
dive
of Hera.
down into the basement there. Then get the tempered sword. Looks like it's time to finish off Eastern Palace by the looks of it. For Inknun, that is.
Yep. Now, unfortunately, Ink still does not have that hammer. Oh, he's turning in the green pendant.
Oh, he was stingy today. $5? Wow. What a bad tipper.
Alright, so looks like Ink will now be heading to the back of Skull Woods.
Now, with the items he has, is he basically, well, for lack of a better term, being trolled by the seed? Because he's going to have to do the blacksmith's chest to get the hammer.
Yeah, so I imagine that will probably be his next play, with the possible exception of Graveyard Ledge, especially if he gets the boots.
Now, there's someone in chat still talking about the skeletons, and I believe they both have to be, or at least those skeletons have to be crumbled on the ground to be vulnerable to being destroyed by a bomb.
In order for them to take damage, at least one of the ones that gets hit by the bomb has to be down on the ground. That's why you can do the thing with both skeletons, but if you try to kill them separately, then they have to be on the ground. Alright, so Inknun gonna check the chest in Skullwoods first, trying to avoid having to kill Mothula, which is an admirable goal.
Salty Fry looks to be set on a battle with Cold Stare in the very near future.
Looks like it. And he will be doing Bombo strats here, which is perfectly fine. I didn't see anything particularly important in ice. I saw some money.
Neither did I.
I don't know if... I don't think he did iced tea, but I don't know if there was anything there. Like, he might have... Or he might just be, you know, counting on it not being
the
anything.
ice broke loose. Wasn't able to trap him in the corner, and this is what happened.
Oh, no! Oh, we've got a ferry.
This is why you have insurance. Remember. I believe he visited the ferry room for that very aspect of catching a ferry before going into the Cold Star fight.
All right, so we see Inknun goes ahead and grabs that pendant from Mothula.
Oh no!
Did he catch a second? That is a no.
No.
And Salty Fry takes a death to Cold Stare. That is unfortunate. But he is going back in for it. Ooh, the cape, turns out, was on Mothula as well. So it looks like we'll be checking out Bumper Cave.
Now, Blaine's also in Ice Palace now himself. Walther's now gonna be looking to, look like he messed up the coffee break. Or came off break a little early there. Gonna pick up his tempered sword now, though.
Oh. Well, is Walther going for Spike Cave? No, he's getting Ether. Okay.
Oh, Butter Sword.
The fourth sword on Peg Cave. Wow. Or Graveyard Ledge. I don't know how to words. Occasionally I forget how to words. You ever do that?
What did I miss? I was supposed to be paying attention, wasn't I?
Something like that.
Ah, overrated.
Oh, yeah. Cold Stare is an absolute nightmare to die on. It's so annoying to get back to. Agatu is worse, yes.
Yeah, I would say Moldorm 2 is probably pretty high on that list of things I do not want to die to, ever. Compared to, say, Ganon, which was brought up in the chat, at least with him, if you happen to die later on in the fight, you can just, well, pretty much jump right back into fighting Ganon himself without having to, go through any more of dungeon elements. Well, Blaine, not able to contain the eyes in the corner.
Yeah, with just the Master Sword, it is quite difficult to do so. Wayne is going to use Hammer Strats here, which is going to deal significantly more damage. Alright, Ink looks to be heading south into Village of Outcasts. This could be the play on the blacksmith and the purple chest that we've been waiting for.
So this should open up the game here for Inknun, especially because he has the mirror. This will go a lot quicker as well. Okay,
Boyne has finished off Ice Palace. Where will he head next? We're going to 4. Is this a swamp play?
Now it looks like he's headed down toward the swamp. Inknun picking up the bomb upgrade from delivering the... Now he's gonna go to the Dark World, pick up the chest.
You want to know what's really annoying? If it turns out that, say, Cane of Samaria is pedestal, you had to go into Misery Mire to get it. Because you had to get the Fire Rod to beat Skull Woods.
Oh.
I don't believe a Peg Cave has happened, no.
No, no one's had the hammer and been in that area.
I mean, Cane and Ice Rod are basically, and possibly Boots, are basically all that's left for progression on the pedestal.
Yeah, but
And of course, assorted fetch quests.
That would be so savage, though, if it were the fire, or not the fire rod, but the ice rod.
Alright, Ink finally has that hammer.
Now, Inknun looks like he's going to... Did he already do Catfish? Or is this...
I believe he just did Catfish. I think he's going to finish Pod, because the first time he was in there, he didn't have the hammer.
Ah, right. I remembered he was in Pedestal of Darkness. See, I've got the pedestals on my mind. I'm going, this is a ped seed. This is a ped seed. Palace of Darkness.
Haunting you.
And now with the mirror in tow, it looks like he'll be able to just mirror over to Eastern Palace and finish that up as well, getting the doubleheader in.
Alright, so Salty Fry is now opening up Turtle Rock and will now be checking Hookshot Cave. We'll get that Quake Medallion.
Walther looks to be going through Ice Palace now as well. So Salty Fry going for Tower of Hera now.
All right. So we're going to see another Hera check. He'll probably exit with a Tempered Sword if he decides to check the basement. Ink finishing off the Turtle Room rather masterfully. Walther heading through Ice Palace, Salty heading up Tower of Hera, and Bwayne making the swamp play.
Inknun taking the more difficult strategy of finishing off Helmasaur with the sword, taking a whopping 2 hits instead of just a single silver arrow.
Oh no. I think it saves time though, because you don't have to swap to the bow.
That's very true. He did have the hammer equipped.
We've got a single arrow in the first chest of Swamp.
Now, Inknun is on round 2 of his doubleheader here, headed into Eastern Palace. Just remember, chat, 60% of the time it works all the time. Walther using the hook shot to pass through the brick to get to the big chest.
Yep, saves you a little bit of time. You don't have to blow a hole in the wall in the floor above. Looks like Walther will be heading to the Ice Tea Room, so called because it looks like a tea and it's in Ice Palace. Oh no, he's going to the Fairy Room. I'm mistaken.
Looks like Salty Fry is taking his coffee break and will be rewarded with a tempered sword once he gets off break.
Yep, I mean, you know, in the original game, the blacksmiths have to take your sword to, you know, for some amount of time and actually perform some actions on it to temper it. You can just think of this as that waiting time.
Ah, so true. And there it is for Salty Fry. Oh, not even Walther was able to keep Cold Stare contained in the corner. But with the tempered sword making very quick work.
So we do see Blaine picking up the magic powder in the back of Swamp, which means he officially wins. Not really, but
he wins a vacation
maybe my
over
favorite
to
item.
the witch's hut. It's a nice shady area.
It's all too hard. Yeah, okay, he caught a fairy.
He did just pick up a fairy. Although he only has one bottle, that I believe.
Alright, so just a big 20 in Spike Cave as well. The locations are drying up pretty quick here.
I can think of one.
I mean, I don't think Blaine went to the left side of Swamp yet.
Oh, that was the other one.
Fire Rod was on, was in the bridge chest of Misery Mire.
Now it looks like Blaine's going back in to do the left side of the swamp right now.
Ah, yeah, the practice hack that Sports FA is talking about there is a excellent resource for dealing, you know, learning all these things. You can sort of set yourself up in various situations throughout the game and give yourself, and, you know, do it over and over until you get it right.
I'd pick the Triforce room.
Seems good.
Ooh, that was well done by Inknun. One spin, 5 penguins, out of there. Bye-bye.
Yep. As long as you have tempered sword or better, you can pull that off. Salty Fry also going into Swamp now. He's not going to find the Fire Rod, which is something he's definitely looking for. The Ice Rod could definitely be in here.
Now, at this point in the game, what are we looking at to be officially in go mode?
I mean, I believe, Fire Rod for the people who don't have it, which is almost everyone. Cane of Samaria and Ice Rod. Boots are a possibility
Boots
as
be
well.
required, or are they just a novelty item that would make things a lot easier?
What did you ask about?
The boots, are they required, or is that only if the big key were on the
Speaking of
torch?
Ice Rod, there it is on the left side of Swamp.
Oh, there's another one off the list.
All right, but yeah, the boots can be required if the big key for Ganon's Tower is on the torch on the left side, because you'd have to have the boots to knock it down.
Now, that's the only way they would need to have the boots at this point, though.
Correct. No, Catfish has been done.
Catfish had 10 arrows, I think, or was it
Piece of Heart, I think.
Piece of Heart? Yeah.
We have not
Zora
seen
that
Magic
had-
Bat. Wayne with the Magic Bat check has bombs. I think we might have a pedestal seed on our hands.
Now it's just a matter of which item would it be. Now,
Cane
it
of
can't
Samaria.
be the book. Oh, it would be the Cane of Samaria. That's the only thing it could be.
Either that or something that leads directly to the Cane of Samaria.
But what could that be? It would have to be like
Could be
boots or
could be
something
boots,
like that.
could be book, could be mushroom, shovel, those sorts of things.
Well, let's see. Wayne has powder. Could he?
He just checked the
Fake
Magic
powder?
Bat, actually.
Okay.
You can't fake mushroom.
Okay.
I wish you could fake mushroom.
But it's the mushroom you turn in at the witch
Correct.
to see what she has.
Right. The powder is used for the Magic Bat. You can use the mushroom to do the Magic Bat with the Cane of Samaria. But we don't have the Cane of Samaria.
Oh, details, details.
I mean, fake flute is a thing. It's just not allowed.
Well, in major glitch categories, it would be.
Yeah, that's true.
But in the scope of this race, it would not be allowed.
Yeah, fake flute involves using a blue potion on a screen transition, I believe.
Oh, glitches like that are way above my pay grade.
It's a big old mess.
Salty Fry looking to finish off another dungeon here. Oh, that was quick.
very nice fight for Argus for Salty Fry. But I think Salty Fry is going to have to go off to Misery Mire next. Ink is heading to Swamp as well. Now Ink has actually cleared out everything except Ice Palace and this. Oh, he did Ice Palace. Never mind.
Yeah, he just got the revenge battle on Cold Stare there.
So Ink will be probably clearing out this dungeon looking for some sort of progression, and when he doesn't find it, I expect a pedestal pull.
So that's going to send everybody seeking out the red pendant then.
Yep. Ink is the only runner who actually has the red pendant on account of that fire rod. Gotta have the fire rod. So before any of these dungeon runners can get that pedestal, they have to go into Misery Mire to get the fire rod. So it is a 100% double dip Misery Mire seed.
And Inknun has the benefit of already finishing Skull Woods as well, which I believe puts him on 2 pendant dungeons completed.
Mm-hmm. In a turn of events that surprises precisely no one, I think Inknun is in the lead.
Oh, depending on where items end up being, I could possibly make a very weak argument for Salty Fry, but I think it's going to be based upon... Well, there's the Ice Rod. Salty Fry just found it.
Right. So everyone who goes into Swamp and finishes it out is going to get the Ice Rod. If Ink does not check left side Swamp, that could be a problem.
Well, is Misery Mire completable at this point?
Not without the cane.
Okay.
You have to use the Cane of Samaria to hold down a switch in the basement in order to get to Vitreous. But you can go inside and check everything but Vitreous without the cane. And that's what you have to do for this seed. Because you have to get the fire rod.
Oh, ouch. So at this point, Inknun would then have the Ice Rod, the Fire Rod. Would that put him into Turtle Rock?
You're going to need that Cane of Samaria to get into Turtle Rock as well.
So, ooh, wow.
So Dwayne is now heading into Mire to get that fire rod.
Now, with Dwayne being what is technically 2 dungeons, well, 1.5 dungeons behind at this point, could he possibly, well, having found the fire rod now, he would have everything but the cane to be able to get into Turtle Rock. Misery Mire still...
Right, so he would have to go complete Skull
not
Woods
finishable.
with that Fire Rod. He could go try to finish Eastern, but he knows there's no more items in there. So I think once Wayne clears out the chests he can check here or finds the second item in Misery Mire, he'll be piecing out and going to Skull Woods. So yeah, there is an argument to be made for Wayne being in the lead on account of Skull Woods. All he has to do is beat Skull Woods and then mirror from there to the pedestal.
So he would be in a, not necessarily a go mode, but a no mode, where he would know what he needs to do to get into go mode at that point.
Right. So Wayne did just pick up the second item here in Misery Mire. He is continuing mainly because he wants to find the big key before he finishes. Alright, Ink looks like he's going to go pick up the ice rod on the left side of Swamp. There's the big key. So Wayne ought to peace out at this moment. I think he's about to try to go to Vitreous. This is going to end poorly.
Oh, Half Magic was in the swamp as well.
Oh, no. Ink forgot to drop the switch to get to the other chest on the left side of Swamp.
Oh, wow.
And Wayne looks at his inventory, sees no cane, and he's like, whoops.
Alright, so Wayne's out of there. Going to take a trip over to Skull Woods. I think at this point, I mean, is there any way he wouldn't think it's a pedestal seed at this point? Well, I mean...
yeah, probably.
I mean, unless the cane's in Skull Woods, which we know it isn't at this point, because having the knowledge of what all the runners have seen that are being rebroadcast, he would have to blind pull pedestal then, wouldn't he? After finishing Skull Woods here. Now, there's no shenanigans with not having the book and not being able to read the pedestal.
Yeah, you don't have to be able to read it to pull it. Just as long as you've got the 3 pendants. Alright, so Salty and Walther both heading into that portal at the same time, but I think Salty's headed to Skull Woods. Meanwhile, Ink is headed directly for the pedestal.
Oh, he would actually be able to pull the pedestal first. This would...
Alright, what is it? Is it the book? Is it the cane? Is it the mushroom?
Boots.
It's the cane!
So the only thing stopping go mode now would be Big Key on Torch in Ganon's Tower.
That is correct. Ink has now found himself in 95.45% go mode.
Wayne is not far behind, but he would still have to take down Eastern Palace after, well, I could only assume, yeah, he's using the mirror, so it looks like he's going to pull the pedestal and get the cane as well.
Very true. He's just got to go back over and finish Eastern, which is one step that Ink does not have to do.
The rage slashes not being able to translate the ancient Hylian hieroglyphs there. Now, is it entirely possible that the boots could actually also be in Ganon's tower, even
Yes.
with the big key being on the torch?
It absolutely could be in Ganon's tower, and that's probably the first place you'd look. So the thing is, with Ganon's tower logic, the big key gets placed first thing, because the logic is designed in such a way that the Ganon's tower big key is placed in each of the 22 possible locations with actually equal probability. Now, you might could glean some information based on the distribution of the remaining items, like, say, the boots or the small keys or things like that. But a priori, it's 1 in 22. And without doing the math, that's the best I can do.
So that's about 4.5% chance of it being in any specific chest.
That is correct. Ink with the excellent machine gun silvers. Vitreous had like 30 seconds to wait there. Not really, but there was a lot of waiting time between that last eyeball and the final phase.
Well, it looked like he was about ready to try to shoot a little lightning bolt out, and then had the animation cancel on him.
All right, so Ink's now going to head up to Turtle Rock, and we'll head that direction. Now, for those of you familiar with the different races we have here on Speed Gaming, a lot of the time we have a big key guessing game. We're not going to be running the bot for this one, mainly because it is possible that other people have watched other people's streams and other people are ahead and you might know where the key is already. So we don't want it to be unfair like that, but feel free to put your guesses in once he finishes off Turtle Rock, but it's going to be a little while before that happens.
I was going to say, you're getting a little ahead of yourself there.
I was heading it off at the pass, because I know people are going to be like, hey, where's the guessing bot game? And I'm like, not for the dailies.
For the tournament that I believe is still running, and I think is in the top 8 or top 4, that's where the bot guessing game is done.
Correct. Not only that, but I believe there's a match happening literally as we speak.
Well, I'm a little too preoccupied with this one to check that one out.
Yeah, I'm a little under. I got a little more to keep track of right now, but
Yeah.
There is another match going on right now in the tournament. Right, Walther has made his way into Misery Mire for the first time. I believe he found his second item and is peacing out.
Now, Wayne's in Eastern Palace. Is he item hunting?
Boyne's in Mire,
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah,
and he's just finishing it.
Don't mind me. I'm old and just lose my train of thought immediately at all times.
I think he went to Eastern a little while ago and finished it. It's fine. We're all old here.
But yeah, I did see for like 2 whole seconds a battle with the Armos Knights.
Yeah, that's about how long it lasts when you have silver arrows. Alright, Fire Rod. Strat's over here in the torch room with a nice little hook shot to end the ride. Sometimes you want to get off Mr. Samaria's wild ride. And Ink now headed to the back of Turtle Rock through the good old-fashioned chain chomp room.
Plane's pretty much dumpstered Vitreous. It's about half a dungeon behind here at this point for Boyne, compared to Inknun.
Yep, Salty Fry, of course, about right in between them, I would say. Walther is now finishing off Skull Woods and will be handsomely rewarded with the Cane of Samaria after a mirror trip. So yeah, lots of required checks today, and that pedestal seed is real. If anyone bet hard on pedestal this seed, they could win. They could win big.
Well, if they did that, I would want to refer them to Gamblers Anonymous, because then they'd be as degenerate a gambler as I am.
Well, there you go.
Could use a little company.
Yeah, 1 bottle too. That is kind of dumb.
Oh, they'll find them all in Ganon's Tower.
Yeah, right as you stop needing them. What? Alright, so Boyne now finishing off Turtle Rock. Let's see, Walther get that cane. Or he just did. And he'll be heading off to Meyer, I imagine. We do see a small key in the big chest, which will allow us to completely skip Laser Bridge. And at this point, I imagine our runners want to skip as many chests as possible. Good lord.
Would you still want to do the Laser Bridge just on the off chance that the boots happen to be there?
I don't know. I don't think the boots are going to make that much of a difference at this point. But maybe. That is an interesting question, considering what's still left. I don't think I would. I think I'd bet on the boots being in JT.
I mean, that would definitely make sense. I mean, if the mushroom is on the Laser Bridge, then I'm going, okay, I'm not going to turn in the mushroom to get the boots at this point, unless I absolutely had to. But there is that 4.5% chance that we're not completely in go mode.
Yep, we will have to see, won't we? Alright, Inknun now into the Trinex fight.
I was able to take down both heads before any debris was on the battlefield.
Gets the double spin and the slash to quickly finish off Trinex. Very nicely done.
Yeah, that was impressive. Usually he'll turn up at least once from that bottom area.
All right, so Inknan finishing off Trinex. That's going to take him to Ganon's Tower. We note that there is no runner that has finished this race at this moment. So if you want to get your guesses in for where you think the Ganon's Tower Big Key is, we won't be running the bot this time, but feel free to go ahead and guess in chat, as is tradition.
I'd say we're in close enough to go mode that why not? And since Inknan is the first to enter Ganon's Tower, it will be the order in which he finds the chests.
All right. So, Inknan heading to the right-hand side first. 2 chests. Number 1,
Says
small key. Number 2, small key. This is a scenario in which a lot of people like to go right side.
oh, Salty Fry getting a little bit of litter on the battlefield as he finishes off Trinex and about to join Inknan in Ganon's Tower.
Wayne apparently skipped the big chest, which means he is probably going to check Laser Bridge looking for a key. Now, there is a chance it is likely to be there, but there is an off chance that it's not.
There are 4 chests. Oh, that's a mirror shield.
Oh, there's the big key in the 5th chest that Inknan opened in GT. There we go. There's a small key on Laser Bridge. So Wayne losing a little bit of time having to check Laser Bridge, but, you know, made up for that a little bit by not having to check the big chest.
Now, he didn't check the final chest on the Laser Bridge. Only went as far to get the key and then just turned tail and got out of there.
That's generally the advisable strategy if you're go-moding the dungeon.
And we also know that the big key in Ganon's Tower is not torch-locked, so the runners are in go mode.
That is correct. So Ink will now be finishing off this dungeon. He could easily be the first one to finish at this point.
Now, by Price is Right rules, it looks like Lazily had guessed 6 very early on. I don't see anyone who has guessed 5. So therefore, I declare Lazily to be the winner of the guessing game.
I too declare that, although that's not Price is Right rules. But we don't go by Price is Right rules, so we're fine.
Ah, well. Make up my own rules.
Yeah, exactly.
Close enough with going over minor details.
Oh, Ink takes a beating. I think he's still got a fairy, though. Wayne will be the 3rd of our runners to enter Ganon's Tower. And Ink is catching another fairy in exactly the right spot. Alright, so we're doing some spin strats here. There we go. Very nicely done.
Wow.
When you powder that fairy and you take a little bit of extra time, it delays the spawn of the Landmos so they'll all spawn at the same time. And when you've got Butter Sword, you just spin them and then try to slash them all again, and you win.
Well, that's a neat little detail I never even knew.
Yeah. Doesn't work with Tempered Sword. You don't do as much damage. You do the same amount of damage with the spin, just not with the ensuing slash.
So you'd still have to do something like use the fire rod or whatever.
Right.
strategy du jour would be.
All right, Ink dealing with the torch room here. No boots today. A braver man than I after a little mishap there. I would have been worried about despawning the tower. There we see Bwain picking up the big key as well.
Oh, there's
So-
another full magic potion right in this room. I was going to say he would run out of magic for the Ganon fight were he to get that far, and I'd have no reason to suspect he wouldn't.
Yeah, there's magic right there. Salty Fry with the one-cycle Silver Arrow Landmo fight. Very well done. Ink Nun finishing off Trolldorm 2.
He seemed to be fairly under control this seed. Trolldorm being a good boy today, at least for our runners on stream.
Very true. All right, Ink will now be facing off against Geometry Wizard, aka Aghanim 2.
Looks like
Just one.
first time.
And a nice double there. Getting a
That's
little
4
trolled
hits
by
in
the blue
total.
projectile.
Oh no, one more. That's the 5th hit. Just one more will put him down. And
There we go. Now it looks like we have had a couple of finishes on the race. We had Pink Kitty Rose coming in first with a 147.23, and Hippos with a 147.52 in second place. So very close race. It looks like
wow.
Ink Nun is pretty well poised to be third, however.
well done to both of them for finishing in first and second as well.
Ink Nun went ahead and did the strat for tempered one cycle with the butter sword for no reason.
Is the tempered sword compared to the butter sword really any faster or slower when it comes to each phase of this Ganon fight?
If you do it right, it's all the same in terms of time, but it's a little more technical to do with the tempered sword.
Oh, the second arrow just missing. Glitch. I don't think that's much.
So first two stages,
and now ever difficult trek to make it into the Triforce room, and we have our first finisher of the restream with Ink Nun. And let me check the official SRL time.
Yep, that is an official time of 1 hour, 49 minutes, and 41 seconds for Ink Nun, third place in the overall race.
Oh, there you are. I guess had to restart Bob.exe there. Had a little malfunction.
I heard something similar coming from you, so I think we're okay. I think it is okay.
on phase 3. Blaine is about to start his Ganon fight. He heard either.
We are now joined today's ink.
My back a little living here can be heard. Not that any want to hear what I have to say.
You there, Ink?
Yeah, you're. We are. Gonna see if I can stabilize him.
All right. So once again, let me see if
I
I
can hear somebody again. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
bring some
Can you
people
hear
in.
me?
There we go. I just had to reconnect to the server, I think. So yeah, well played, Ink. That was a seed, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was wonderful. The hammer was painful, and then the sequence with Ice Rod into Red Cane was just like completely shocking. Just like my brain stopped.
Yeah, you. Maybe Walther, but yeah, the first one to finish. You had taken care of so many other things. I'm going to go ahead and bring in the other two guys who've also finished rather quickly.
Yeah.
And hello to Salty Fry and Bwayne. Once again, well played. Overall in the race, we had 3rd, 4th, and 5th here. Pretty good runs overall, especially for a seed that basically had you do the whole silly thing.
Yeah, GG, guys.
Yeah, GG to everybody.
Yeah, GG's.
I mean, other than Cold Stare, that went really well for me.
Oh, yeah. I remember your cold stare issues.
Well, the second time it went perfectly fine.
Yeah. Really
I
bad.
forgot to hit the switch in Swamp Palace and had to walk back to the left side. It was
Oh,
always
yeah.
embarrassing. It's like, oh.
And I think, if I recall, someone tried to go to Vitreous without the Cane of Samaria?
That was me. Yep. Turns out you need. Be really happy I could do that, and then
Sorry, we're having once again a little bit of connection issues here. I think Discord hates us today.
Yeah, I'm afraid to actually say anything because I think I'm going to get Mr. Destructoided.
This is one of those mythical pedestal seeds that everybody seems to love. So it's very interesting that this is one of those times where the pedestal was just sort of the last thing you could have gone for, and it was just process of elimination instead of nobody was going to go straight for the pedestal in this seed. That would have been silly. Why would you do that, right?
Oh, it's pretty hard to do it, especially with a fire rod kind of buried in Misery Mire, I guess, right?
Oh no, Walther being our first victim of Troll Dorm 2.
Hmm. Did I see that right, that the book was on the mushroom in the credits there?
So now the question is, where was the mushroom?
Exactly. Good stinking question. I'm going to guess somewhere in, like, left side GT. So this seed really did not want you to know the pedestal until it was time to just go pull it.
I started to think it was kind of heading towards that way. Like when I was going through Swamp, I remember thinking in the back of my head, if I find Fire Rod in here, I should just go clear Skull Woods and just blind pull the pedestal at that point in time. Instead, I found the Ice Rod, which was actually a lot better. I didn't really want to be searching for that everywhere after I'd found like the Cane or Fire Rod.
Yeah, it was very fortunate that everyone decided to go back for the Ice Rod.
I
We
took
were
a
afraid
second to
somebody
think
was gonna
about
skip
it. I didn't go right back in. I hesitated for a second because I was thinking I could go check K45, hammer pegs, and turn in the powder in, and then head up to Skull Woods, which was a lot more items than what was left in Swamp at that point. So I almost just bailed. I'm glad I didn't.
I suppose the prevailing logic there would be, yeah, it's more items, but I don't want to have to drain the swamp again.
It's very hard to skip 2 items in the left side of Swamp.
In a lot of situations, I would, but usually that's more a situation where it's a crystal and I'm in there because it's a crystal. In this situation, I was in there searching more specifically for items, I guess.
Yeah, and when you don't find anything, it's sort of like, well, I gotta keep looking. That's why I'm here.
All right, our fourth has entered Ganon's tower, or Ganon fight. I know the words. I forgot how to words for a second. So, was there anything about this seed that you guys wanted to comment on in particular?
The worst part of it was probably the Moon Pearl for me. I mean, yeah, it was pretty trolly everywhere in the Dark World, but I felt like I found the hammer about as early as I possibly could have. And getting the Ice Rod left side swamp was pretty quick too, relatively, but that Moon Pearl just took forever, and my Light World routing ended up not being very effective.
Totally with this blind. Oh, I'm so sorry. You were talking and I didn't hear.
Sorry, is it? Go ahead.
It's really lucky that the seed wound up being so trolly. If you sort of like, if you take a really long time to check the Moon Pearl or to get the hammer, well, everyone's checking everything anyway. So turns out you're not as far behind as you thought.
Yep, you're gonna get trolled either way. We see that Ink finishes with a collection rate of 152, Salty with a collection rate of 146.
All right, Walther, our last of the restreamed runners, finishing his Ganon fight. I believe that'll put him in 11th place.
All right, and Walther finishing with a 159.30, the sub 2 on that. Pretty solid for a pedestal seed. If you can sub to a pedestal seed, you are officially doing pretty stinking good. And it looks like we are now joined by Walther. Congratulations on that finish.
Yeah, GG's. So that was quite a scene.
It sure was, wasn't it?
Yeah, I personally don't mind having pet seeds, but it's quite nice if you could have the book and at the least check pet, if that's the case.
Yeah.
Yeah,
This one
having
wasn't.
to blind pull it had to be I think the blind pull, did you really know what had to be on the pedestal at that point when you really blind pull?
No, I had Ped and Spike Cave because I just got the cape from Mophila. So it was about a 50-50 at that point.
I know at least one of our runners did Spike Cave with just a bottle.
Yeah, I did Spike Cave and regretted it immediately because I realized it actually wasn't in logic. But for the 15 seconds in between when I killed Mothula and pulled the pedestal, I would have been really sweating having skipped Spike Cave if I had. But
Did anybody go
for
into
me,
the
it was the
hammer
last
peg room?
Yeah, for me, I did literally everything. I
Yeah.
knew it had to be pedestal because I literally had nothing left to check at that point.
Yeah, there it is. Drugs for literacy. Book is on the witch. So if you wanted the book to go see what was on pedestal, you need the mushroom, and we have no idea where that is. So there you go.
Checkerboard cave, maybe? Oh, did anybody check that?
Yes, checkerboard was 300
yeah.
rupees.
Yeah, people check checkerboard. I think the check
Maybe.
was the last vanilla big key chest. All right. So we had a great race here on stream between the three runners, Ink and Salty and Bwayne, and then Walter was not far behind either, and all four managing to sub 2 this pedestal seed. That seems pretty good to me.
Chat's saying mushroom was left side Ganon Tower.
Left side GT. Okay, so you definitely could not have seen what was on the pedestal before getting the pedestal. Boots were apparently also there.
You know, all
Good to
these
know.
good items you skip by not going to left side Ganon's Tower.
Yeah, I mean, when you get 2 keys on the right side, most people are going right.
Oh, that's very true. You know, once the torch doesn't have the big key, there's no reason to go item hunting anymore.
All right, so that is gonna pretty much do it for us here. Is there anything else our runners would like to say before we wrap things up here?
I'll just say GG to everyone, and thanks a lot for the restream and everyone involved.
Yeah, I'll second that. It was a really fun seed.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep, ditto here. GG, everybody.
All right, thank you very much. Once again, I'd like to thank our runners Inknun, Wayne Salty Fry, and Walter the Fourth for showing off their talents here today. I would like to thank especially our trackers, Storm Tenchanko and Kung Pao Pi or Kung Pao P, one of those two. I don't know exactly how to pronounce it, but thank you both for your excellent job with the trackers today. And of course, to my co-commentator Frico, thank you so much for riding along with me today.
Well, hopefully I didn't sidetrack you too much with my nonsense and banter.
I mean, that's what it's here for, right?
Quite true.
All right. So with that, I think it's about time to wrap things up. So I will just say that I have been Dr. Bob-tastic.
And I'm Frico.
And we'll see you later.
Have a good night.